Amen.
Anger management, there's a lot of things just kind of sporadically put on the board, but anger management is my absolute favorite lesson. And the reason being is because our children are very angry. They are really, really angry. That's number one. It's just that they haven't been taught the tools and given the tools of how to deal with that anger. And so they get a lot out of this particular day, this particular piece of our curriculum. Another reason why I like it is because it directly correlates and relates back very well to all the previous lessons that we did. And I put those up here. In fact, I actually list this if you've been in my classroom. I always list every topic for the week so that they understand that this is a progression. We're not just sporadically coming up with things to teach them. And then once they see that, they can start making the tie just by looking at that every week. Okay, so that's always up there. So I have this up here. Anger management ties back to the heart lesson, of course, because we start dealing with those violators. We start dealing with their anger at those people who put those blemishes on their heart, right? And we also know that once you have all these corresponding walls, all this anger is built in, and no love gets in and no love gets out. So they get that. Then we talked about self-awareness. What do you like to do? What do things make you happy? What are you good at? Okay, that's very important now because that's going to come into play when we start talking about the resolutions, right? And you'll see how that ties in later. Then week 3 was about empathy and forgiveness. You know, walking in other people's shoes. You know, opening up your heart, forgiving, so on and so forth. We talked about that. All right, and a lot of them can't really do this because they're angry. Right? Then week 4 last week was about healthy relationships. Anger was in that. You're always angry. You're always fighting with your relationships. So now they're tying in and they're making a connection. All right, so just go over that. Normally, this is kind of the reason why I really love this particular piece of our lesson. What do they want to get out of this? All right, there's 3 things that I really want them to know about anger management. Number 1 is, hey, listen, you're human. We all get angry. It's okay. It's a human emotion. We're not robots. We get angry. Okay? But knowing that today you're going to walk out of here knowing how to manage it. You may not know how to manage it, but at least you're going to be willing to try. You're going to get some tools and some tips so that you can feel like you can manage your anger. All right? And then 3, how can we use anger, because we know that it's going to happen, how can we use it to be productive and not destructive? Okay? So it's kind of the with them. What's in it for me? Every Saturday they come in. Why am I here? What's in it for me? Well, I'm going to give you some really good tips today, right? Because I know a lot of you are angry. Right? So that's kind of the template that I kind of set for today. The first thing that I do, let me just go through these really quick. In every lesson that I do, I follow this methodology that I created, that I even use in my program, and it's just the cattle model. And I feel like if I do these things with whatever I teach with young people, that my day is going to be productive and they're going to get something out of it. Okay? So I'm just going to give you this really quick. Number 1 is connect the learning to previous lessons. Okay? The brain has dendrites in it. It's kind of like a spider web. You learn something, it gets in your brain, and then you learn something else. You don't want to just get displaced. You want to connect it. Now you learn something else, and it's connected. And now you got this big spider web of learning happening in your brain, right? So we want to have them spin a really good web so they connect and learning. And right off the bat, I've already done that without even going into the lesson because they already know how this is going to tie in, right? So connect the learning going back. The second one, reinforce learning with activities. We all know this stuff. Okay. We also have a terms list, terminology. I want to educate them too. Increase their vocabulary. They start learning terms, it may just start interesting them. Right? Then I have a life lesson for them. For anger management, who can tell me what the life lesson is? The good and bad wolf. Okay, and we'll talk about the good and bad wolf. And then last but not least, the E is connect the personal experience. Hey man, I've been angry before. I'm going to tell you exactly one of the things that happened to me that